Okay, on to our next question, and it has to do with repairs to the Grenlock Lake Dam.
I was just wondering how long it would take to get the dam finished.
Okay, Mr. Moore, I believe we've actually met you before. You live right on Grenlock Lake, so of course you're concerned about the dam on Central Avenue. So here's the update. Construction recently began to repair the wooden dam, which was first built in 1907, then reconstructed in 1940 after a tremendous storm flooded the lake and washed out both sides around the dam. When the dam was re-inspected a few years ago, it was shown to have structural damage. So for the past 4 years, the township has been setting aside monies from the state's Community Development Block Grant Program to fund the project. When I recently visited the construction site, township engineers informed me that when they began removing the original structure, they discovered areas where the old wooden dam had actually breached. Now, the new dam will be made of concrete. A temporary coffer dam will first be built around the existing structure using steel sheets. This will prevent water from entering the work area. Twin pipes will run across the road to divert the water and relieve it on the other side. Once the concrete has cured, these steel sheets will be reset around the dam to help control soil erosion and protect the embankments, which, as you can see, have suffered considerable wear and tear over the years. Now, Central Avenue will be closed during this construction, but you asked for a time frame, Mr. Moore, so here it is. Construction is expected to proceed through mid to late July, at which time the road will be reopened, and we can rest assured that the sturdy new dam will hold for many years to come. And by the way, for you history buffs, prior to the flood of 1940 that destroyed the original dam, Grenlock Lake was the site of a thriving amusement park. That's right. People used to swim, bathe, and enjoy merry-go-round rides right there at Grenlock Lake. Just a little history for some of you who didn't know about Grenlock Lake's illustrious past. And speaking of history, up next we'll hear from someone who'd like to hear more about Washington Township's days gone by.
I've been in the township for 36 years, and I've seen a lot of changes. And my question to the mayor is, what are we doing to preserve the history of Washington Township for our children and our grandchildren?
Hey Jack, since you've been in town 36 years, many of them spent on the golf course, I bet, I guess that makes you a part of our history. Maybe we should preserve your clubs. But seriously, many residents like Jack have watched their children and grandchildren grow with the township. So here's what we're doing to preserve our town's memories. Town Council recently adopted an ordinance establishing a historical advisory council consisting of 9 volunteer members. The mission is to provide the town's history and educate the public. Spearheading the effort is Councilman Bob Timmons, who's working closely with the Friends of the Old Stonehouse Village to gather information about local historical sites for recognition on the New Jersey Historical Register. Inclusion on the registry would make us eligible for grants that could help fund projects like restoration of the old worn floorboards in Bunker Hill Presbyterian Church. These types of projects were previously accomplished through the generous support of volunteers. Other plans include hosting more events like the annual Herb Festival, which we're currently preparing for, the Harvest Fest, the Holiday Open House and Christmas Tour, and military reenactments. We'd like to gather more historical artifacts and memorabilia for display and education in our historic areas. And if you've got a story to tell, we'd like to hear from you. Some residents and their families may even be videotaped so that their oral histories can be preserved. We really want to get the ball rolling on our historic preservation efforts, so if you have information to share or items for donation to the Historic Advisory Board, please contact them at 856-589-0520, extension 270. Again, that's 589-0520, and the extension is 270. Okay, let's see who's up next.
I live in the Maples, and I want to thank Mayor Moriarty for fixing up Herfield Cross Keys Road. Between the hours of 3:30 to 6:30 every weekday, there was always constant traffic jams in that area. We now have 2 lanes heading south, and it made all the difference in the world.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're pleased with the widening of Herfield Cross Keys Road, Bruce, but I have to admit that we did get a few calls in my office from some of your neighbors in the Maples who weren't very pleased during the construction process. I hope everyone is happy now, and I definitely can't take credit for the improvements. All thanks goes to the county, who oversaw construction on that site. I do agree that it's made a difference in traffic flow on that side of town. Here's what the 4 o'clock rush looked like in that area back in December, and here's what the 4 o'clock rush looks like now. Big difference. Herfield-Cross-Keys Road has widened to 2 lanes southbound from Bells Lake Road to Fry's Mill Road. The northbound lane remains the same. Traffic now moves much more efficiently, and we no longer have that heavy gridlock on a daily basis. It's just one more example of how we're trying to reduce travel time through the community. Part of that plan is to ease congestion at specific trouble spots and make for a smoother ride all across town. So happy motoring out there.